Well, you might be having personal problems that you can't solve within yourself. You can't seem to find a resolve within yourself. And people are tired of listening to you. Your friends, you've worn them out with your complaints and trying to stretch for answers with them. You're left to look at yourself in the mirror, and you're possibly dependent on chemicals and drugs now as a choice you made earlier in life. You chose, as you can hear the Australian bird life in the background. You can hear the birds singing after the rain here this afternoon. It's going towards dark now. But it's time to face yourself in the mirror, and the problem with it is you've looked at other people to try and find yourself. You've used them as a mirror to try and see yourself in them, and you possibly did, but what you were looking for in the positive turned out to be the negative. You sort of looked in the mirror and saw an ugly face, and it was yours because you possibly tried to find yourself in the goodness and the lives, or in the brokenness and the heartache of other people, and you possibly forgot about yourself. This is the problem. You forgot who you were. You forgot who you are. And this led to you losing your identity. So when you'd meet people and see people that you like, you decided to take on their identity. You decided that they were who you were, who you wanted to be. And you lost yourself. But you had nobody else to blame except you, and now you're in a corner. You've run out of excuses, you've run out of reason, you're still on drugs, you're still drinking alcohol, you don't even like the taste, you're coughing, you're spluttering, your eyes are sore and itchy, your throat's all burnt and jagged from the smoke, your mind's fried from all the chemicals and what the devil's lettuce does, the dope, the marijuana does to the mind. You run down, add demonic torment and accusations and voices to that, voices that want to tell you what you're not and what you'll never be. Then contest with your own shame and guilt about the way you've treated yourself and the choices that you've made. No, the choices that you've made, and how you've come to that point where you've tried to blame everybody else for where you are. This way, please. Come on, mate. Up. No. You've tried to blame yourself, everybody else instead of yourself, and now you're at that point where, look at this dog. It's quite amazing actually how fast it is. You have to face yourself in the mirror. The Michael Jackson song, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. It's now your turn. You're drugged up, you've had too much reckless sex, you've lost too many relationships, you no longer know who you are, you're no longer aware of who you used to be, you've got all the excuses, you've got all the reason, rhymes, none of it's adding up anymore. You're sick, tired, you've lost friends, you've had fights, You don't trust yourself anymore. You can't trust anybody else. You're paranoid. You become schizophrenic. You're happy one minute, sad the next. Manic one minute, depressed the next. Manic depressive. The drugs aren't working anymore. As a matter of fact, they're making things worse. Time seems to drag out one minute and go fast the next. You've lost all your friends. They just can't put up with you anymore because you're not in your right mind. Your family's deceived you in lots of ways, enabling you to think that drugs are the way to go or alcohol is the way to go. Even though your conscience was trying to lead you away from all that, you're still pushed on in it. You're still hammered away at it. Yellow nicotine fingers, skin dry from all the toxins and chemicals. Your life has become toxic. You've masturbated when you didn't want to. You're living with all the shame of these things. You couldn't find a way not to have shame. And of course, shame's always associated with guilt. And guilt is the one that's going to eventually break anybody's brain and self-worth. You feel worthless. You feel like hiding in a corner. You don't like to go out anymore. You don't want to associate with other humans anymore, strangers. That's not uncommon. Humans are very difficult to get along with after a while. And of course that's variable for all of us. We end up struggling against ourselves and everybody else. And what you're realizing is you've made wrong choices. Those choices have been influenced by people that have made wrong choices in their lives. Good people have come along, but their spirit was just something you weren't going to swallow at that time, although your conscience did pick up on the fact that something within them was trying to warn you about the direction you were going in, but it just wasn't time for you to awaken, for you to listen. And these words and this advice just slipped off your ears like water off a duck's back. And ultimately and eventually you've found yourself in a pit that you've dug, and now you're trying to claw your way out of it. You're tired, you're sitting in the bottom of it, looking up out of the hole that you've put yourself in. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light when you look out of the hole. And bit by bit, you begin to find your way out, and then you'll fall. You fall again. You think, you put all of it together, you go, right, this is bad for me. I'm gonna slowly, I know I can't do it straight away, although some people have, out of fear and shock. I'm gonna work my way myself away from this, and you feel embarrassed. You feel like you're betraying the people that have led you into it and are still doing it. But you're decided you've got to make choices for yourself, and you're prepared to do that and get the blessings and take the consequences and the criticism of that. And you start to see results. You start to sense that there's a power within you that is more valuable than the power of destruction that comes with drugs and alcohol and these other cheap forms and, well, expensive financially, but weakening forms of resolve. And you begin to find your way out. you begin to ask questions about spiritual things, and you might possibly find the Lord Jesus Christ, the cross, where evil and wickedness and stuff like that flee. Flee. Evil flees from the believer. And that's my prayer for you. I pray that you find your way through your own awakening and on your own personal journey back to yourself, and renew the spirit of your mind and find and reclaim who you are and your identity again.